The Price of an Automobile Factory. Author, Stanislav Gorszak. A car is not a luxury, but a means of transportation. The main attribute of modern man has become a means of transportation. A car gives mobility, saves time and shields from unwanted contacts, which gives a sense of superiority over pedestrians and a sense of independence. And it does not matter what kind of car it is, personal, service or hired. Every self-respecting person should have a car. Nowadays, the famous phrase has acquired a different meaning. Now, if you do not have a car, it means you are poor. This approach has provoked an increase in demand for cars, and as we know, where there is demand, there will be supply. Many automakers are engaged in satisfying automobile demand in Russia. However, there has always been competition between the leading domestic car plants. And if in the Soviet period it was a confrontation of ideas, then with the advent of wild capitalism Russian automakers were drawn into wars for influence. One of the confrontations of ideas in the Soviet period was the unspoken war between the Volga automobile plant and the Izhevsk automobile plant. Both enterprises specialized in the production of so-called people's cars. Izhevsk automobile plant was famous for its Muscovites. The main running model until the mid-90s was the 412th Moskvich. A very successful design of the car allowed it to stay on the conveyor of Izhevsk automobile plant from 1967 to 1999. This car showed itself perfectly in international rallies held in the 60s and 70s. In addition, the presence of various modifications allowed to use Moskvichi both in agriculture and commercial purposes. This car was easy to service and repair, but was inferior in comfort to the VAZ Classic. However, in some aspects Moskvich surpassed the Classic. So, the ventilation system of Moskvich was equipped with additional electric heating elements for quick heating of the car interior. The ground clearance of the Moskvich was higher than that of the Classics, which allowed to use it in rural areas. The rear axle of the Moskvich had leaf springs, which increased its load capacity compared to the Classic. In Moskvich installed engines of Ufa motor plant, which also produced aircraft engines. According to one version of the engine 4 Moskvich was invented by sawing an 8-cylinder BMW engine in half. In support of this version are the following indisputable facts. The engine cylinder block is placed at an angle, like a half of an 8-cylinder engine. Also the engine has hemispherical combustion chambers, valves are located opposite each other. These technical solutions were used mainly in German developments. As a result, the 1.5-liter engine Moskvich was able to produce 75 horsepower, which was a very decent indicator for that time. In turn, the Volga automobile plant produced Ziguli. The history of the Classic began in 1970, when the factory began assembling VAZ 2101, Copica. Copica was designed by the Italian firm Fiat. The prototype of Copica was Fiat 124. After consideration by the Soviet leadership of the Italian project of the car, the designers of Fiat were given comments. Among others was too low ground clearance and the need to strengthen the suspension of the car. The Italians were surprised by this remark, as it indicated that they planned to use the highway car on off-road. But the comments were accepted and the project was finalized. In the future, the model range of Classics was expanding. Motors of cars became more powerful, saloons more comfortable, and the appearance more modern, but in essence it was still the same Fiat 124. The main advantages of Classics before Muscovites were softer suspension, reliable gearbox, quiet and comfortable interior. If Muscovites were purchased mainly for rural areas and for commercial transportation, the Classics were taken mainly by city dwellers. But one model became the first reason for discord between car factories. Few people know, but the well-known Niva was invented at the Izhevsk automobile plant. In 1970, the Council of Ministers of the USSR issued a task to MZMA, AZLK, VAZ, and IZH car plants to develop a people's off-road vehicle, built on serial parts as much as possible. MZMA developed the Moskvich 415, later prototype 416, in the styling of American Willis. It was because of its appearance and the need to create additional capacity at the plant that this development did not interest the Minavtoprom. Therefore, the production of Moskvich 416 was not established. In turn, Izhevsk automobile plant was also able to present a worthy project of the people's SUV. The Museum of Izhevsk automobile plant still has a prototype of the off-roader built on Moskvich units IZH-14. The designers of the Izhevsk automobile plant fully met the requirements of the Ministry of Automotive Industry. The design of the IZH-14 used serial parts as much as possible. At the same time, the car looked modern, had all-wheel drive and had a comfortable interior. According to the official version, the production of people's SUVs was transferred to Tolyatti, as at that time Izhevsk automobile plant was part of the structure of the plant Izmash and was loaded with the production of defense products. But people in the know said that Alexei Kosygin, chairman of the USSR Council of Ministers, was very favorable to the Volga automobile plant, VAZ, and therefore such a promising development was given to Tolyatti on his order. VAZ created the legendary Niva based on the developments of Izhevsk automobile plant. From that moment the unspoken confrontation between the two car plants began.